All right, what is going on out there? How y'all doing out there in Atlanta, Bird Gangland, and also on Uncle Steve's Lounge on YouTube? It's your Unc in the house. How's everybody doing today on this rainy night in Georgia? Uh, we are currently trying to see what is going on. Let me turn this down a little bit so y'all can hear me. Thought I could hear. There we go. Yeah, I love my music too, but I didn't want that to overshadow what was going on. But I guess if it's low enough, maybe y'all can hear it too, and it's all good. Anyway, just getting back in town yesterday after a very, very uh, awesome trip with my wife to Sin City in Las Vegas, and it was interesting to me to note as I was in Las Vegas, and of course, you all know if I was in Vegas, I was wearing all my stuff, my Falcon stuff once I got there. So that did get a couple of tips. Me and my wife, I think Saturday, I think we wore all Falcons while we were down there, and of course, got a couple of comments here and there about the Atlanta Falcons. But quite honestly, of course, you're in Vegas, and of course, you're in a place where people drop a dollar or two on a couple of things. And hey, your unc is human. I absolutely got an opportunity to drop a couple of dollars on some bets. I won't go specifically just to say how much, but I will share some of the bets that we had on here. Feel free to chime in with me if you want to on Atlanta Bird Gang, and also on Uncle Steve's Lounge, as y'all brother Dave is in the house. What's going on, Dave? Just talking about this weekend's trip to Las Vegas, and also, um, man, as you look across the board, and I know Atlanta pretty much did a whitewashing of the roster and stuff, and especially making the huge move with Matt Ryan moving on to Indianapolis. But man, Vegas has zero faith in the Falcons going forward in 2022. And it's funny because if I talk to people around, it seems like folks, what's going on, my brother? How you doing, man? It to me, this is just me. I think we made better draft picks, and I thought we made better free agent choices this year for the team. Of course, the natural instinct, as I tell everyone, and I always talk about this, we could talk about big time defense all you want to. You could talk about AJ Terrell turning into a burgeoning star at cornerback. You could talk about Kyle Pitts with the possibility of taking this offense to the next level. But the NFL moves and grooves on quarterback play and what the quarterback can do. And if you really look from last year to this year, and I wish I could go back and see what the odds were, but if I'm not mistaken, I thought the Falcons were at least at 5.5. And I'm not sure. I don't think they were 6 last year. I still think everybody thought we weren't going to be that great. But Vegas would tell you that the Falcons are are right at 4.5 for them. So I'm going to pull that up now. Like I said, I'm going to pull my picks that I made. I was at the Bellagio, and the Bellagio says that the Falcons are at 4.5. And to me, I think I like our roster better this year than I like what we had last year. And with the rookies from last year having one more year in the system, hopefully getting an understanding defensively what Dean Pease wants to teach them, and offensively what Arthur Smith is trying to install, I just have a little bit of optimism. Now, 7 wins last year is nothing to go crazy about, But boy, we won seven games last year with this roster that was definitely depleted with the losses of course, Julio, and we didn't know we were going to lose Calvin during the middle of the season. So that to me was kind of crazy. That I was like, man, I said, so they think we're going to be that bad, eh? So it was what I had to deal with. So the first bet that they had on there was I'm trying to put it on there. Uh, Wins for the Falcons was at 4.5. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Uh, 4.5 for the Falcons at the Bellagio, which is MGM. So that's basically all the same thing as far as that's concerned. Uh, that's a pretty good. To me, I kind of like that. I think 4.5, and I was looking at the schedule. Share the schedule one more time, and I know we've gone through this several times as far as the schedule for the Falcons. But I was looking at it, and I said to myself, if I'm Vegas, I'm trying to see where they don't see us winning 5 games, and I'm gonna play. Not optimistic fan on here. Okay, the Saints are coming to town. I still don't think the Saints are that good, but I'm being Vegas right now. I'm being Vegas. I'm pretending like I'm Vegas. They love the Saints. Vegas loves the Saints, so they're say Saints win. Of course, they're not going to pick us for the Rams at Seattle. Now, Seattle is more stripped than we are. They lost their arguably best offensive and defensive veterans on that team. And you mean to tell me that you're going to have us not favored against Seattle? So that's weird. But I'm going to say we'll win that game against Seattle. My heart tells me we're going to win the Cleveland game. I think Vegas is going to tell you that they're more talented, but I like the fact that we play here at home. So, I mean, that's 2. And this was not meant to be a guess the schedule thing. Excuse me. Sorry about my throat. This is not meant to be a guess the schedule thing, but I'm trying to justify my bet. At Tampa Bay, of course, I'm not going to pick Frisco, even though they come here. No. Cincinnati, and they come here. No. Carolina is in worse shape than we are. Don't let anybody fool you. That's a 3rd win right there. And then sandwiched in between is the Chargers. But I just don't see Carolina being a very competitive team. I don't care who they got, whether it's Darnold, whether it's Matt Corral, whether it's a returning Cam Newton. I just don't see them being that good. Chicago comes to town. Is Chicago that good to where you think Chicago's going to come in here and beat us? I don't know. I root for Justin, but I just not sure if they're that great of a team or not. Washington at Washington Commanders, I don't know. Pittsburgh Steelers come here. Now, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers franchise, but is it really the Pittsburgh Steelers? Is it the normal Pittsburgh Steelers that you fear? I don't think they are. I wish we could go by the bye week and win that. But we go to New Orleans right after the bye. You go into New Orleans, that might be a tough one. At Baltimore, that could be tough. Arizona and Tampa Bay. I just, maybe I'm just being a little optimistic, but I think we can sneak 5 wins out of that schedule. So that's why I had no problem taking that particular bet. When you start talking about the number of wins. Now, I also took the Atlanta Falcons to be the NFC South winner. Now, I know I'm stretching, and you'll be proud of me because I bet the minimum that you could on that particular one. But let's keep it real, keep it 100. Do y'all actually think Tampa Bay is that loaded that they're going to run all over the division this year? I think they're good. I think they still have some leftovers, but I don't know. It wouldn't shock me. Look, all it'll take is one sprained knee from Brady for this whole thing to blow up in Tampa Bay's face. Now, I know that's a long shot. I'm not sitting here telling you this the gospel truth, but the other three teams are just vying for second place. Let's keep it real between us, Carolina, and New Orleans. So I guess the hope would be, hey, maybe if Tom trips over his feet, maybe we'll have a shot. But I did that anyway, just to see. Christian, what's going on? Said, how was Vegas and what are they saying about us? Apologize. I'm like, oh no, I'm just starting, Christian. Vegas doesn't like us, bro. They don't like us at all. I don't think they are big Falcon fans in Vegas, and it shows by some of these numbers. The NFC South, 25 will get you 500, get you 400, as far as the NFC South is concerned. So again, long shot, but at the same time, whatever. Dave comes on and says the Falcons are going to beat a couple of teams they're not favored to beat, and it always happens. It happens every year. Somebody out of the woodworks will come, and they'll have somebody come down there, and we might beat Cincinnati. We could upset one of the two games against Tampa Bay. I don't know, but there'll always be one or two upsets on the plate this year. Okay, opening week at this moment, as of June 26th, that was yesterday when we left, the New Orleans Saints are 4-point favorite over the Falcons. Now I will say those days of the Saints running roughshod over us, I know that last game of the year kind of got out of hand, but I think a lot wasn't on the line when you start talking about that. But they have the Saints entered at a 4-point favorite. Now, to somebody like me, that's great, because the majority of the time over the last few years, especially since Drew Brees left, and really when Drew Brees was declining, we had a couple of close games there. So I'd be willing to, take that and take the 4 points. Maybe we could have a field goal game where we win. And obviously, I want the Falcons to win, but more importantly, it would be nice if even New Orleans won. If they won by 3, that would be awesome. Now, you couldn't get a whole lot off that game. I don't think they were that enthralled with New Orleans either. So I did take the 4 and got that at least. Hey, Lisa, how you doing? Beat the Aints always, every day. They did have New Orleans favored to finish second in the NFC South. They had the second best odds next to Tampa Bay winning the division, which is not a shock. I mean, even without Drew Brees, I think from a roster talent standpoint, I think you have to give it to the Saints. What we're hoping for is that we can come together by the end and hopefully have a little bit more cohesion going into 2022, so we can, have some, something to talk about going into the season. What's up, King? How you doing, sir? If you're just joining me, just had a trip to Vegas this weekend. I wanted to talk about what I think Vegas thought about the Falcons going into the year. Surprisingly enough, Vegas loves the Braves, which is crazy. I know they don't love Kinsley Jansen. Jesus, that cat. Oh boy. But anyway, King says, I think we're gonna fly under the radar. There is no reason for us. And really, King, aside of internally just making sure you made the right moves, there isn't a lot of pressure on this Falcon team. Last year, I'm telling you, there was still pressure because of number 2. And we'll get to that in a little bit. There was a lot of pressure because number 2 is under the center. And as long as number 2 is under the center, and you have a former MVP under the center of a team, they're going to figure that you have some shot at being good. I think this year, because there is absolutely no one that has faith in Marcus Mariota or a third round rookie quarterback, that we're coming into the year with some pretty much tempered expectations. Myself, I think the fact that, yeah, we're taking care of the quarterback position. I think the rest of this team really has a chance to get better. When you start looking at some of the upgrades, in my opinion, that we made with some of the drafting on the defense, you know, just a couple of the defensive pickups and Hayward and my brother from the Giants, Lorenzo Carter. I think we have the opportunity to shock some folks. Now, I'm a month out from training camp, so obviously my hype motor is stronger than Frank Darby's. But at the same time, I'm also saying that the expectations for the Falcons are at a point where if we lose, it's not like people are going to be, saying, oh, they only won 4 games, because that's what the NFL thinks of us right now. Because we probably lost per game 2 points and at least 1 win because Matt Ryan left this team. I'm not telling you I think that. That's what Vegas has. I think we lost 2 wins because they think Matt Ryan leaving is just going to kill us. Steve, what's going on, man? Said beat the Panthers twice, beat the Bears. That's at least 3. And that's my point. Listen, that Panther team is not a good team. I got another team that everybody has kind of just skipped because of their former hype. Do y'all think Seattle's going to be good this year? Dude, I'm penciling that in. I penciled that game in as soon as the schedule come out, man. They lost Russell and Bobby Wagner, the leaders on both of those teams. I think at least with Grady still in place and having at least somebody that was in a leadership mode that's still part of this team from an era that says, I was there when we did this. And I know I'm not ignoring Dion, but his situation is probably still fluid right now. So because I don't know how they're going to deal with that. But yeah, in addition to those games, that Bear game, the Bear defense is still kind of tough. I don't want to totally I like the Bears more than I like Seattle or the Panthers. But I hear what you're saying about the possibility of winning those. He also says, can he coach up 3 more wins and you're there? And I think he can. I think we can coach up a win. I think we can coach up a win on opening day. If you're Arthur Smith and you rewind the tape back to last year's season opener, that was ugly. Not only was it ugly, that was embarrassing. And if it's one thing as Arthur Smith, you want to make sure that first game that you show up. A lot was made last year about not playing Matt and a lot of the starters in the first couple of games, and I get it, but you laid a major egg. And for a franchise and for a fan base, I should say, that is looking for that next step, if Arthur Smith doesn't coach any game like it's the last game of his life, it's going to be that New Orleans game. Obviously, the fan incentive is going to buzz. It's going to be. If anything, I had somebody ask me about tickets when I'm in Vegas, talking about, oh man, I'm trying to get some tickets to the New Orleans Falcon game. I'm like, man, okay, so at least they talking about the game there. But when you start talking about Arthur Smith and how you can start this goodwill with the fans off on the right foot, you beat your arch rival on a season opening game and kind of erase the stench from last year when you let the Eagles come in here and run roughshod on you. I mean, that would go a long way towards, some good thinking with the fans. Devontae's listening to us on Uncle Steve's Lounge. How you doing, my friend? I said, I believe we might have a dark horse this year. There's no doubt that I think we can sneak under the radar. I think kind of what King was saying. We can absolutely sneak up on some teams. There's a part of me that almost hates this part of the year because we got a whole month before we see some guys in pads and doing anything. Because, of course, your optimism as a fan during this dead month is just growing and growing. And it's great. As a Falcon fan, it should. But, man, I can't wait to see what these folks look like in uniform and see them hit each other and see if they change their tactics for training camp. You know, you can't. We all know there are going to be injuries. We haven't heard them yet. We hope and pray it's not anybody super duper important to the team's success. That's going to happen. But overall, man, I'm just a lot more optimistic going into this year. Yes, even with the void that Matt Ryan has left on this team. Lisa says, good info continues to come out about AK-47. Yeah, I look, and I've said this before. Hopefully that's good inside stuff, Lisa. I want to see. I'm looking forward to that first game, that first preseason game. That first preseason game is going to mean so much. I mean, we have to. If you think about it, this might be the first year in a long time that the Atlanta Falcons are really going to be, Atlanta Falcons fans are going to be highly invested in what goes on during a preseason game. I mean, because let's keep it real. The last few years of preseason, Matt Ryan rarely played. You know, you were resting your wily vet. Well, this year there is absolute competition. I mean, we're going to be talking more about preseason games here in the city than we've talked about in a long time.